Hi everyone, happy Sunday. I hope you all are doing well. Today I am going to show you all how to embroider on totes / leather. So I'm actually doing a leather tote to combine the two, but there will be, I'll show you how to do both of them on a single needle 4x4 machine. We give it a few minutes for people to jump on and then we will get started. So bear with me here, I'm still trying to figure out which design I want to do. Hi, welcome. Bear with me, y'all. We are waiting for, I always wait for about 5 people to join before I officially start. And I'm trying to get this set up to where you guys can see me well and see my machine. So you might have to just bear with me here, but I'm going to show you all how to embroider on totes / leather tonight. So happy Sunday and give me just a few more minutes. Okay, we've got 5 people joining us. Hi, Sherry. So we are going to go ahead and get kicked off. Tonight, I'm going to show you all how to embroider on a leather tote. This same principle applies whether or not it's a tote or kind of any leather opportunity, but I wanted to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone and show you guys how to embroider on a tote and on leather. So we're going to do this. The first thing I was doing was trying to figure out what I was actually going to put on this. And I don't have the opportunity to zoom in here with this ring light because it has to be plugged in. So what I did is I'm just going to do a really basic, there we go, thin circle monogram. This is the thin circle font from Rivermill. I just bought it on Etsy a couple days ago. It stitches out beautifully, but I wanted to go ahead and show you all this. So what I'm going to do here in the system is obviously get it set up. I've got my monogram the way I want it, but number one thing I always do is I go and I am always, as always, working at a PE Design 10. So I am going to change my fabric selector underneath the settings to leather / faux leather. That way it will kind of change the density of the stitches for me. So I'm going to get this all set up and go ahead and send this to my flash drive. Okay, so now it's on the flash drive, but here's the deal, y'all. You want to make sure that you do not pick a super dense font for the leather, especially if it's a really soft leather. It can actually puncture through the leather. So we want to make sure and pick something that's just a little bit open or just not as dense. The denser it is, the higher problems you're gonna have. This is my Persona machine. I'm not using this one tonight. I'm only going to use my SE625, but I just wanted, this is just always in the background. So here is, this tote has already been embroidered on. I did not do it. I bought it this way, but it's falling apart, so I figured this was the perfect thing for me to try it on with you guys tonight. You guys cannot see this, but that's what it looks like on the back. However, if I lift this up, I can tell that this font is too dense for this bag because there are holes and the light shines through it. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. They did not use any stabilizer on this bag. They probably, there just looks like there's no stabilizer whatsoever. With it being such a dense font, I would, but also you're gonna need to for it to stick to something. So I've got my 4x4 hoop here. I am going to use Pellon sticky tearaway. Nothing special. I get it at Hobby Lobby. You can get it in the rolls. I haven't found it in something bigger than that yet, but this is what I would use, so that way you can float it and you don't have to use your 505 spray. So I'm just gonna cut it here. And sorry guys, I know that typically I'm more prepared than this, but I got caught up watching Bobby Flay's new backyard barbecue TV show with my husband and kind of let time slip by me. So you are very welcome, Rhonda. Okay, so what I'm doing here, y'all, is I am just hooping this sticky stabilizer. It can be a little bit of a pain, but you obviously just want to make sure that it is as tight as possible. I did not cut this wide enough, so that's obviously something else to take into account. Cut it wider than me. Learn from my mistakes here. I always like to say I'm not an expert, just showing you guys what I've learned. So, okay. So we've got my stabilizer hooped. You guys can see the stick from this. Again, this is just the Pelion Sticky Tearaway. I use this on my fast frames for my Persona, and then I use it anytime I need sticky for my brother or for the small brother. I'm gonna get this all hooped. If I can get my hoop to come together. My luck is I probably picked the stripped one, so let me. Okay, let me grab another hoop base. Later in the week, I am going to show you guys how I organize my craft room. It's also kind of a mess, but I'm kind of OCD too, so you guys can see all my blanks behind me. Okay, so my sticky stabilizer is hooped, nothing crazy. I've got it on my machine now. I'm going to turn this so you guys can see better. Can you guys see the machine okay? Okay, so we've got this hooped. We're gonna go ahead and pull our design up. I went ahead and threaded the machine. This machine is the Brother SE625. The other one is the Brother PRS 100. Okay, so I've got my design set. Now, here's how you're going to hoop the tote bag. I'm going to turn it inside out. Some people are going to tell you to pin your totes. You absolutely can do that. However, I do not want it to show through my leather. I don't want pinholes, so that's something to keep in mind. Some people are going to tell you to actually hoop your leather. That is something, if you can do it, that's great. But depending on the softness of the leather, depending on the thickness of the leather, you will get your hoop ring. So just keep that in mind. It's probably best to float in this instance. I do not care to float anything typically on this machine, but if it's something that has to be done, it's what has to be done. Okay, so like I said, I've already got this threaded. I will do an embroidery one-on-one here in a couple weeks. Well, I will physically show you how I thread the machine, but in this instance, this is how you're gonna do it. You guys can see this is already pretty sticky. Sorry. It is holding this down for me. Which is awesome. So all I'm going to do is make sure that there's plenty of stitching room around this. I do not want this to touch any of the thread area, but I am going to kind of put it around here, make sure it's in place. Typically you would center it, you would do all of that good stuff. Since this one already has a monogram, this is just my throwaway bag, I'm just going to go ahead and stitch right around here. But the last thing that you need, obviously aside from the foot going down, is water soluble. You are going to want to make sure and use water soluble anytime you embroider on these kind of bags. It's going to just give it that extra layer for those stitches not to sink down. And then just hit go. So again, you would typically make sure it all lines up, go through, make sure everything's okay. But since this is just an example, I just wanted to show you guys how I do this. Again, I turn it inside out, and then I put it on here. If there's not room for it to be on there, then I will make sure and just kind of hold it very gently out around the bag. You obviously do not want to make sure that it catches on any part of the machine or that anything gets caught underneath the needle itself. This machine right here is the Brother PRS 100. Do Do you all have any questions at this point? While this is stitching out, let's see if I can get this ring light to work again. There we go. Okay, so while this is stitching out, that's really all there is to it. You change the density of your stitches in your software, and then you just make sure that everything, you hoop your sticky stabilizer, and then you just make sure that the bag is centered properly and put down and your design's facing the right way. You're gonna see I did not change the design orientation on this one, and it is not facing the right way. But again, this is just a trial for it. The center of the design for placement, what I do is I put the bag on there as best as I can, making sure it looks centered, and then I always trace my design. That way I can see where it's actually going to be, if it needs to go over a little bit off, or if I just need to unhoop it and rehoop it. I don't physically mark the center of my placement. I typically eyeball it. Sometimes it gets a little off, but most of the time it's pretty on point. I do vinyl work outside of this embroidery, and so I've had to kind of really learn to eyeball centers. But you can also use the grid on your hoops. These things are awesome. They will tell you the exact center of your design, so you can put these down after you've hooped it. You can just kind of sit it down on top since this isn't physically hooped, and make sure that it is centered where you want it to be. They also have these that I bought on Amazon, and I haven't used them too much, but it's perfect placement kits, and they show you, each one is for different areas. So they've got them for shirts, they've got them for everything you can think of, socks, repositional hoops, full-size hoops, center of the bands, if you're going to do it on shirts. This is a bath towel with border and where your center of your monogram needs to go. So this kit, I think I got it off Amazon, but that's what I would have used in the past when I was trying to figure this out. So you are very welcome, Vicki. I was trying to see if there's a brand on here for you guys. I don't see a specific brand for these perfect placement hoops, but perfect placement kit is what they're called. These are very helpful. Any other questions while this is stitching out? I know I don't like to just watch machines stitch out, so I'm here for you guys. Have you all found the YouTube channel? Is that working out okay? I see that there's several subscribers already, which is awesome. Every time we do one of these Facebook Lives, I will download it and make sure I upload it to that. My goal is to get it done within about 24 hours, but you never know what kind of is going to pop up on my schedule. So obviously all of these will always be saved to this group. You guys can always go back and find them. But if you don't feel like searching, YouTube will have them as well. Good, Sherry, I'm glad to hear that channel's working out for you. Okay, I will spin this and you guys can kind of see where we're at for now. That's as close as I can get it, unfortunately, since this light has to be plugged in. But you guys, and I will make sure and show it to you. But it's already done most of the letters. This thin font from Rivermill is great. It's got a full embroidery. I think I did the 2.5 inch size, and it only has 2,300 stitches, so it's only about 7 minutes on this machine. Hi, this is the Brother PRS 100. It is their single needle that acts like a multi-needle. So I still have to do all the thread color changes, but it does, it's just like a multi-needle machine. It does like 1,000 stitches, or up to 1,000 stitches a minute, 8x8 stitch frame. It's pretty awesome. It was what I upgraded to. Hopefully next year or so I'll probably be upgrading to a multi-needle if everything continues the way it is, but I love that machine for now. Not necessarily the most budget friendly, but it's the most budget friendly of the multi-needle machines. The name of the placement packet is the Perfect Placement Kit. And it looks like it might be by Dime. I really think I got it off Amazon for like $25, maybe $40. I bought it when I was in college, so it definitely was not too expensive because a college student made sure that it was necessary. The PRS 100, Persona 100. Any other questions, guys? This is almost done. This was a really quick stitch out. Obviously, I'll make sure and show it to you. But I want to make sure and answer all of your questions that you guys have regarding this process and this machine, since that's what we're really here for. Sorry, I've got a bunch of Walmart sacks on my floor from going to the fabric store today. So once again, I kind of just have this to where it touches, making sure it doesn't overlap any of the thread. Okay. Okay, so once again, hooped the bag inside out. That way you guys can see it. This is going to be the bottom. Sticky Pelion stabilizer, and I'm probably saying that word wrong, and I've probably said it wrong in all my videos. Forgive me. But you guys can see this is the way it came out on the SE625. And I did not trim my jump stitches yet, so bear with me, but here is the thin font that I just did, so you guys can see how easy this is. This is a really soft, very thin leather bag, but it works just fine. I also have these thicker leather backpacks that I work on, and this machine handles it just fine. Again, just make sure your density of your stitches is not far too much, because it can puncture all the way through. I have done a couple items that I probably shouldn't have. I probably should have just used some like heat transfer vinyl or something on them, and it punctured all the way through. So I just want to warn you guys and save you guys the hassle. But again, this is the one that was already on here. I would say this design is probably fine. Whoever did this bag, it clearly hasn't had too many issues, but I want you guys to also see the way it's puckering. I don't know if you can really tell that, but it's puckering and it's not laying flat. Whereas a thinner design for this bag and this type of leather probably would have worked better. Hi Sharon, yes, this video will be saved as soon as it's done and you'll be able to catch up really quickly. It's a pretty short video tonight. This isn't too hard of a process, but wanted to make sure and at least show you all since you guys have had several questions. Most important thing is the tearaway sticky stabilizer for you to hoop it, and then making sure you use water soluble on top aside from your stitch density changing that I change in my program. And guys, this is I wouldn't say obviously it's not reusable, but it has not lost its stick in any of the other areas, so I always save it. You never know when you need the little strips or when you're going to continue with it. And then sometimes I even will just add a piece right here in this hole and make it work again. So I never throw this away until it totally loses its stick. If you're going to use sticky stabilizer for cutaway, the only one that I have found that works well is Floriani's. It is not cheap, but it works really well. It's a beautiful cutaway and it is sticky. So I love that. But like I said, and like I will always say, I recommend hooping 99.9% of things that you can, especially for these type of machines that have these kind of hoops. When you float, you really kind of can't control a lot that you can whenever it's in a hoop. So I recommend trying to hoop it. There's some things that you can't. There's some things that I wouldn't recommend. This leather probably would have been fine to be hooped with as soft as it is, but it could have showed the hoop line. So it's just something you're going to kind of have to play around with and, you know, test out. It's different for everybody, but want to make sure and at least tell you guys that I highly recommend trying to hoop everything. Any other questions before I sign off and save this for tonight? Okay, guys. Well, as always, feel free to message me. I am happy to help. At least comment underneath the video if you really need to. Again, it's going to be uploaded to YouTube. But I'm here to help you guys. I will see you guys on Thursday. Don't exactly remember what I said I was going to do, but I will make sure and be more prepared for Thursday. So I hope you guys have a great day. Have a great start to your week, and let me know if you all need anything. Thanks.